Hello everyone, I'm back, and this time I'm back with chapter 10 of Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before by Dr. Julie Smith. Chapter 10, it talks about, the title of the chapter is On Emotional Pain, Make It All Go Away. So, what does chapter 10 talk about? It talks about emotional pain and how one should make it all go away. She says, when people go to her for therapy, they ask her, she as a therapist asks, what do you want from the process? And most people will include emotions in the answer. So they have some painful or unpleasant emotions that they want to get rid of and are missing out on good, enjoyable moments and calm ones. So they would, and moments that they would like to feel again. Don't we all want to be happy? Yeah. So they feel at the mercy of those painful emotions and want them gone. So that's why they go to therapy. She says, Far from making emotions go away in therapy, what therapy helps you to do is it changes your relationship with emotions, to welcome them, to pay attention to them, to see them for what they are, and to act in ways that will influence them and change the intensity of them. So it kind of changes the relationship that you have with emotions. It helps you to see them for what they are and to act in ways that will influence them and change the intensity of them. Like she once said, you can tune it down or tune it up. Dr. Julie Smith says, emotions are neither your enemy nor your friend. Interesting. They are neither your enemy nor your friend. But having gone through a depression, I feel sometimes we are too self-critical that it makes us feel like we are our own enemies sometimes. But there are moments where one feels really high and you wouldn't find a better friend than yourself. So, but this is her opinion. She says, emotions are neither your enemy nor your friend. Emotions are your brain's attempt to explain and attach meaning to what is going on in your world and in your body. So she says it's a way of it's the brain's attempt to let you know what is going on in your world and in your body. Now your brain receives information from your physical senses about the outside world and from your bodily functions like your heart rate, lungs, hormones, and immune function. So the brain receives information from your physical senses, from your heart rate, lungs, hormones, and immune function. Now it then uses the memory of these sensations that occurred in the past, because obviously you must have felt these physical sensations before, and you would be holding a memory of these sensations in your brain, in your memory. So it uses this memory of these sensations that occurred in the past to make some sense of these now. So it uses that memory to make sense of these physical sensations that are happening to you now. This is why the heart palpitations brought on by too many cups of coffee can culminate in a panic attack. So if you drink too much of coffee, it would culminate in a panic attack. The pounding heart, faster breathing, and sweaty palms all feel a bit familiar to you that time you had a panic attack in the supermarket. So maybe you have felt this panic attack in the supermarket, and the next day, or maybe after a week, you drink a lot of coffee and you are experiencing the same attack. So you associate your memory with the panic attack that happened in the supermarket. And the physical sensations feel just like fear, and your brain gets the message that all is not well, which ramps up your threat response. So the physical sensations then, it feels like fear, and your brain gets the message that that something's not right, and this ramps up your threat response. Okay. So wouldn't it be great if we could wake up in the morning and just decide what to feel that day? Wow, that would be, people talk about it, don't you think? Set your intention. That's what people talk about today. So wouldn't it be great if we could wake up in the morning and just decide what to feel that day? Yeah, enter love, excitement, joy, please, she says. It works sometimes, I feel. But according to her, it's not that simple. She says, the opposite of this idea is that emotions just pop up with no trigger, and we have no control over what happens or when it happens, according to her. Sometimes I feel that is true. All we can do is try to resist them, block them out, and be rational. Okay. But that is also not the case, she says. You cannot block them, you cannot resist them. But she says we have more influence over our emotional state than we were ever taught to believe. I repeat, she says, we have more influence over our emotional state than we were ever taught to believe. We have more influence over our emotional state. She says, we can get to learn about the many ways we can take responsibility for our well-being and construct new emotional experiences. So when we are not feeling good at all in a mental space, we can take the responsibility for our own well-being. We can take responsibility for how we are feeling, and we can take care of ourselves and construct new emotional experiences. We can construct new emotional experiences. What not to do with emotions? She says, what not to do with emotions? And she says, you are not supposed to push them away. That's the first point. And the second point is, you should not believe that they are facts. So coming to point number 1, she says, don't push them away. Okay. And she gives you a picture. She says, imagine you're at a beach and you walk into the sea up to your chest. Okay. The waves need to pass over you to get to the shore, right? So the waves are coming and they need to pass over you to get to the shore. Now, if you try to hold the waves back, just imagine yourself and you're holding the waves back and preventing them from reaching the shore. You'll learn how powerful those waves are. You actually learn how fucking powerful these waves are. Okay, they push you back and you quickly get engulfed and overwhelmed. Okay. Now, this is what happens when you resist them. Okay, you tumble and you struggle against the waves. But, as she says, those waves are coming no matter what. Like, you cannot stop the waves from reaching the shore, but you're trying, and you are feeling overwhelmed. Okay. But they are coming no matter what. So now she says a different thing, a different attitude. She says, now when you accept that, you can focus on keeping your head above the water as it passes. Now you accept the fact that they're going to reach the shore no matter what, and you accept this, okay? You can focus on keeping your head above the water as it passes. You can focus on yourself and you keep your head above the water as the water passes. You still feel the effects, might even get lifted off your feet for a moment, but you move with the water and brace yourself, ready to land back on your feet. Okay? So dealing with emotion is much the same way as standing in the waves. When we try to stop feelings in their tracks, we easily get knocked off our feet and find ourselves in trouble, struggling to catch a breath and work out which way is up. And when you try to resist, okay? When we allow the emotion to wash over us, when we just allow it to wash over us, it rises, peaks, and descends like its natural course. It rises, peaks, and descends, taking its natural course. Now, the second point, she says, believe what not to do with emotions. Don't believe that they are facts. Emotions are real and valid, but they are not facts. They are a guess, which makes me think, like, if you are in a forest and you always have this, and you're living like the people in the forest, obviously there are attacks from animals, and obviously your body is feeling feeling a lot of things to help you track danger. Okay, but we are living in a different setup. Okay, and she says emotions are real and valid, but they're not facts. They're a guess. It's a guess. Okay, they are a guess. An emotion is the brain's attempt to make sense of the world. It's the brain's attempt to make sense of the world so that you can meet your needs and survive. It's the brain's attempt to make sense of the world so that you can meet your needs and survive. Given that what you feel is not a factual statement, neither are thoughts. So what you feel is not factual, neither are your thoughts. So they are not facts. Okay. And then she talks about CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. And this therapy, what it does, it gives practice at being able to step back from those thoughts and feelings and see them for what they are. Just one possible perspective. So you take a step back and then you see your thoughts and feelings. You just put them on the table and you see them for what they are. If you know that thoughts and feelings are not facts, but they are causing us distress, it makes sense to check it out and see whether it's a true reflection of reality or whether an alternative would be helpful. So, when we treat our thoughts and emotions as facts, we allow them to determine our thoughts and actions of the future. So when we consider them that they are facts, we allow them to determine our thoughts and actions of the future. For example, what I could understand from this is that when we take ourselves too seriously and we believe in the thought that we're no good, we are a failure, and we kind of feed that kind of thought into our system, it leads to suicidal tendencies. I guess that is what happens in students who are often struggling with this situation, I feel. Yeah, so we treat our current thoughts and emotions as facts, and we allow them to determine our thoughts and actions of the future. Now I understand. And what happens then is that life becomes a series of emotional reactions rather than informed choices. So instead of informed choices, it becomes a series of emotional reactions. So how do we stop buying into thoughts as if they were facts? We ask questions, she says. How do we stop buying into thoughts as if they were facts? We ask questions. Therapy gives us practice at being curious about experiences in both our inner world and the world around us. So what happens in therapy is that, she says, individuals sit down opposite and start talking about the things that went wrong and feelings that they shouldn't have, stepping into the old habit of self-criticism and self-loathing. From that perspective, what happens is that they shift. The therapist helps the person to shift that perspective to a bird's eye view. We look at how those behaviors fit our formulation. We shift into curiosity, where there's no need for self-attack. So we shift that perspective into curiosity, and there is no need for self-attack there. So in the process, the therapist helps the person to learn and grow. Holding curiosity allows us to look at our mistakes and learn when they might otherwise be too painful to acknowledge. So you learn from your mistakes, and you learn from the mistakes, and which might otherwise be too painful to acknowledge. Holding curiosity brings with it a sense of hope, and energy for the future. Whatever happens, we're always learning, she says. So that rounds up chapter 10. Why has nobody told me this before? By Dr. Julie Smith. I hope this was interesting, and I hope it helps you at whatever stage of life you're in. So God bless, take care, good night, and love your life. Thank you.